Hey there guys, it's InyashFan1324. I'm gonna be reading another creepypasta. I just did 5 minutes ago, but found another one. Uh, Depending on if this one, if this one doesn't meet the full 15 minutes, there's another one that I've got lined up that I'll read because it's rather short. Uh, this one is called Mr. Shade. I have no idea what it's about, I haven't read it yet, so it'll be your first time for me too. This one's like sectioned off, so it took me a minute to figure out what I said. I'm sorry. Uh, Guilt. I think more than anything, guilt is what's hurting me the most. Of course, there are my wounds, but Mr. Shade will find me long before those kill me off. Mr. Shade, technically my creation, but it was an accident. I didn't mean to do it. I swear to God. If only that day had never happened. No, I can't lose it now. I have to get this down. I have to. The beginning. My job is very unusual. By unusual, I mean I work with quantum mechanics, the fun stuff with antimatter. One weekend, I received a call from one of my coworkers. His name was Carl. He was a genius with an IQ in the 140s. He told me that he had made a massive breakthrough, but wouldn't give me any details. I was very busy with other things for the rest of the day, so I told him that I would come by tomorrow. The night I had strange dreams. I hadn't had nightmares since I was 8, but for some reason I had them again tonight. Looking back on it, it was probably an omen or something. In my dream, I was working in the lab when I would hear an alarm go off. Jumping up, I checked the information readouts, which say that the antimatter containment failed. This should have resulted in a massive explosion, but for some reason nothing happened. Turning around, I saw that my shadow stretched out in front of me. This was confusing, because the lab was so well lit, shadows were impossible. Staring at my shadow, I saw it begin to twist and writhe, as if in great pain. Then a shadowy figure would rise out of it. It was vaguely human shaped, but it was hard to tell. We would stare at each other before it plunged its hand into my chest, right inside of it. The rest of the darkness would follow, flowing inside of me. Darkness clouded my vision and I awoke. The next day, the dream had shaken me more than I'd cared to admit, but I came to the lab anyways. As I was parking, Carl ran up to my car. He was practically shaking with excitement. He ran his mouth non-stop, and I could only comprehend phrases of what he was saying. A new type of matter and altered by electric currents was about as much as I could get out of him. He led me to a room which was dominated by a large glass bulb. Coming out of the room was a large pipe, but what caught my eye was the substance inside the bulb. It was a dark, oily stuff, writhing and coiling in midair. I thought of my dream again, and ignoring what Carl was saying, absent-mindedly put my hand onto the glass. That's when the alarm sounded. Carl ran up, face-pale, shouting, What did you do? The whole power system is shutting down, for no reason at all." We both looked at the matter to see that it was now dancing and weaving, casting a strange glow. Then, with no warning at all, it stopped. It must have only hung there for a second, but it seemed like hours. We both started it. You can't spell, dude. We both stared at it, transfixed. I heard a faint crack, snapping back into reality. I just had time to dive to the ground as the bulb exploded. Slowly, painfully, I got to my knees. Broken glass littered the ground everywhere. Carl lay next to me. Looking down at him, I saw that he was dead, but not from the explosion. There was a wound going directly into his heart. It looked like it had been made by a knife, or a blade of glass. Arm trembling, I rose my hand to eye level, where I saw an 8-inch long glass shard soaking in blood gripped there. What? You worded this terribly, dude. With a cry, I dropped it and stumbled into the nearest bathroom. Gripping the sink, I stared at my reflection. What happened to me?" I stammered. To my shock, and my reflection, or more accurately me, replied, "Oh, you're hosting me now. It's going to be wonderful. Well, for me. Might not be so fun for you. You can call me Mr. Shade." How? Just how? That came out as barely more than a whimper. How can I simplify this for you? How can I simplify this for your puny mind? Let's try... Your friend was playing around and created a new matter. Let's call it S matter. It gets strongly affected by electricity. It's kept in containment, and then, bam! You come along, thinking about this dream. And what more are your thoughts than electric signals? And what more are thoughts than electric signals? Well, those thoughts made me. Well, those thoughts made me. That makes you my creator. I hope you don't mind if I worship you, though. Being a superior being and all, I see. It was so weird seeing my mouth move without me being the one to move it. I had to get this thing out of me. Thinking furiously, I came up with a wild plan. You do realize that as I'm currently sharing your brain, I can tell what you're thinking right now, and what you're thinking will never moving fast, lest it take over my arms. I brought this shard of glass down on my arm. I didn't expect it to go all the way through. The pain would have been intense, but luckily I didn't have to feel it right away. As Mr. Shade tried to take over my mind again, he accidentally took over the part of my brain that processes pain, and he got a lot of it. Screaming with my mouth, he flew out of my body trying to escape. I didn't plan, I didn't think. I just ran and hoped that he wouldn't find me. Now I'm hiding, but he will find me. Wait, I heard a noise. Hello? 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 Ah, there we go. I'm really getting the hang of this, aren't I? Let's see. Now, can I get rid of this? Oh, dog. Is that right? No, that's not it. Oh, damn. That's right, isn't it? I can't get rid of this. Oh, well, I have a disguise now. I made myself a body. It's lovely. Also, I got myself a, what's it called? Oh yeah, a tuxedo, and a top hat to go with it. I picked up one of those canes, to, just because. If I say so myself, I'm quite stylish now. I'm gonna be getting all the ladies, and once we're done, I can rip every electron from their body. Hey, a guy's gotta eat, right? In fact, I'm getting hungry right now. Is that someone passing by outside? Oh joy, it is. Well, friends, I'm afraid I have to go now. I am starving. Well, goodbye. The quote from Mr. Shade. That's probably one of the weirdest stories I've read, not gonna lie. Yeah, that's 7.5 minutes. Yeah, sorry that I messed up some of the wording in there. That was really worded terribly. Like, seriously, I'm failing English, and that was just terrible. Alright, the next one I'm gonna read is Creeper. No, it's not from Minecraft, I don't think. I haven't read this one either, so I wouldn't know. I'm just guessing. Well, hold on. Reading stories about monster, get a drink of monster. Common law. The following was viewed in a local newspaper when a detective looked into a missing girl case. April 20th, 1990. Cops have recently found a lead on the missing girl case. The following is quoted from the police by one of our detectives. We've almost given up on this case for 5 years, but each time we try to quit, we magically find another clue as to where she might be, or what happened to her. I hope we find out what happened to this girl soon, or I fear the whole police force may go insane. We found pieces of fabric on most of the trees on Coville Forest Trail. I feel we are getting closer to a conclusion to this case. When we find out anything else, we'll let you know. And so this is all they say to my detective. Though I really do believe they're getting closer to ending this case. My condolences to Ashley Carter's parents. April 25th, 1990. The cops have found another lead to the conclusion of Ashley Carter's case. This time our detective called in sick before he could tell me what he quoted from the police. But he did tell me what they found. The police have found the ripped, torn, and bloody jacket of Ashley Carter. The case is getting closer to a conclusion, and I can feel it in my bones. April 28th, 1990. The cops have found another lead to the conclusion of Ashley Carter's case. This time our detective called in sick before he could... Wait, I'm sorry. April 28th, 1990. My detective has a quote from the police. As of today, the Ashley Carter case has come to a close. The police said this much to my detective and tried not to go into detail. We have veered off from the main forest trail where we found most of the evidence. The body was decomposing to the last of its flesh. The clothing was molded, torn in multiple places, and covered with old blood. The skull was fractured by claws like a wild animal attack, though when our bone specialist looked, there seemed to be teeth marks in the arm bones. And clutching in the hand, we found this note. The rest of this information is classified. My condolences to the family and friends of Ashley Carter. The note was given to my detective and will be added to further on this article. The following info is now classified information of the government and was covered up as a prank while the rest of Ashley Carter's relatives were killed to hide this fact. July 28, 1985. I leave this behind as evidence of my existence. I am Ashley Carter, a girl who hasn't been found for 5 months. The reason for my disappearance would probably be impossible to believe, but for some, impossible to believe for some, but it's true. It is. It all started at the ending of last year. I was walking home from my school as Dad was a drunk and my mom was at work, so no one could come pick me up. I had been walking by the field 1 block from my house when I noticed it. It was faint, but I still barely caught it. The sounds of twigs breaking, and I had looked at the field as I was walking. The sound was following me. I continued looking and noticed a shadow flitting through the leaves of the plants. I had been too tired to see what had made the sound, so I just sped up until I got to my house, then curled up to fall asleep. Around 4 o'clock I had woken from a nightmare, and I went for a walk outside. Still hearing the sounds, I got curious to see what it was, so I stepped into the field and began to walk. About 30 minutes in, I still didn't see anything, and I was getting tired. I turned around to go back out of the field, but walked straight into the chest of a horrid beast. It had bleeding holes where its eyes should be, and the blood was black. The skin was blue, cracked, bleeding, and blistered. The hands were long, sharpened claws, and the mouth was filled to the brim with sharp, pointed teeth, and had a long, black, forked tongue slipping between some of the teeth. The name I had given the beast is Creeper. If you ever hear that noise, never, never go see what it is, or you'll end up like me, too. The rest of the note is splattered with blood and torn to shreds. Whatever this thing is, I know it's real, because it's stalking me, too. That's all of them for now. Yeah, this is retardedly entertaining. I'm probably gonna find more to read. That and I'm waiting for something to happen anyway. Alright, tell me what you guys think. I know these last 3 that I've done have been not my best, because the medication I'm having to take is making me, like, see things. Like, the words are blurry, and although the one guy just had terrible language, that was just awful. I mean, I made a 50-something in English class, and that was just, God. My dyslexia was having seizures there. That Creeper one wasn't as good as I thought it would be, I'm sorry. I'm trying to find a good one. Should probably stop, the recording, but... let me know what you guys think. I'm trying to do better, honestly, but, like, my voice is not doing what it's supposed to. This is not how my voice actually sounds, it's just the last couple days I've not been able to speak correctly. Completely forgot what I was going to say. That's wonderful. If any of you guys have a recommendation for a story that you would like me to read because for some reason you want me to read it, yeah, like that'll ever happen. Let me know, put it in a comment, private message, I don't really care. I'll still look at it either way. Before I end up making this damn thing go over the time limit, I'll stop here. Stop my talking.